What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's video. So for this video, I thought I would do some more recommendations, some more photography documentaries to watch while we're all still in quarantine. And of course, I hope you guys are staying safe and healthy and creative during these crazy times. Let's get into it. So this time around, I thought I'd actually read the synopsis for these documentaries instead of me just trying to babble off the top of my head. I thought that might be a little bit more helpful. And of course, I'll give my thoughts on them as well. But first up is a new documentary on Netflix called LA Originals, and I'll read the synopsis for you now, and then I'll tell you what I thought. So, LA Originals. Music photographer Estevan Oriel and artist master Cartoon turn their Chicano roots into gritty art impacting street culture, hip-hop, and beyond. This documentary was amazing, mostly because it was kind of set in LA, and it follows Cartoon, who's a tattoo artist who got to tattoo some incredible celebrities, and Estefan's photography career. And let me tell you, it shows what it was like being a photographer back in the day. He also got to photograph some hip-hop legends. He went on tour with Blink-182 overseas, and he is a film photographer, and he stayed a film photographer even when digital was coming around in the early 2000s. And yeah, super inspiring to witness somebody's career as a photographer. Just his work is so inspiring, and I actually tried to order his book, but it's sold out everywhere now. So when that comes available, I'm going to order that as soon as possible. But definitely recommend this documentary, because just seeing both of those guys' careers from late 80s, early 90s to early 2000s and up to now, where they started, where they ended up, is pretty incredible. So thumbs up for me for that one. And a couple of these are like photography documentaries who follow photographers and their career, and I threw in some ones that don't really follow a photographer's career, but there's either photographs involved or a story related to the photographer's work, if that makes sense. I'll explain. But before that, the second one up, which is actually a photography documentary, this one is called Under Fire, the untold story of Tony Vaccaro, and he's a war photographer. And I saw this one a long time ago, but it's a pretty heavy one, but let me read the description first. A World War II infantryman smuggles his portable camera into battle and creates one of the most comprehensive and intimate records of the war. Tony was a soldier, and the documentary basically takes you through his experience, and it's pretty heavy, the things that he got, he's a war photographer, so a lot of his stuff is pretty incredible that he got to capture it, and he was like on the front lines as far as, being up close and personal with this stuff. And there's a part in the documentary which really stuck out to me. I won't say too much, but he basically kind of goes through an inner conflict of if he should take a certain photograph or not. Like, what are the rules? Should he document it because it's war, or should he respect, the dead, basically? It used to be on HBO. It was an HBO documentary. It's not on HBO anymore, but you can rent it on Amazon for like $4 or $5. It's definitely worth a watch. It is a heavier one, so now might not be the best time, but it definitely is inspiring to just look at his work and hear his story. Okay, on to the next. Okay, this one is on Netflix, and I watched it a few months ago. Haven't given it a rewatch yet, but I plan on it. It's called The Last Resort, and here's the little synopsis. Photographers Andy Sweet and Gary Monroe focus on the sunburnt paradise of 1970s Miami Beach and its vibrant community of Jewish retirees. So yeah, this documentary is super interesting for a number of reasons. One, it's kind of like these two photographers' work is essentially a time capsule, because in the 70s, Miami Beach was highly populated with older Jewish folk, and then as time went on, it kind of turned into what Miami Beach is now. So Miami Beach doesn't look like it did in the 70s as far as the people that live there. There also is a little bit of mystery. One of the photographers passes away, and there's a little bit of the mystery of that in there as well. Andy Sweet's book I actually did order a few days ago on Amazon, so I'm excited to get it in the mail. His work specifically is He shot all of this stuff on color, and Gary shot all of the stuff on black and white. So their two views of the same subject is very interesting. I'm a color shooter, so I love color, and especially these types of people in their element photographed on color is fantastic. So definitely recommend it if you guys haven't seen it yet. And again, it's on Netflix, The Last Resort. Not the thumbs up. Okay. So the last two, these are the ones that I mentioned weren't really about a specific photographer. This one is called Generation Wealth, and I'll just read the synopsis and then I'll explain what I mean. Lauren Greenfield examines materialism, celebrity culture, social status, and reflects on the desire to be wealthy at any cost. This visual history of the growing obsession with wealth uses first-person interviews in Los Angeles, Moscow, Dubai, China, and all around the world to bear witness to the global boom and bust economy and documents its complicated consequences. Whew, that was a lot. So Lauren Greenfield is an incredible photographer. She has books out that I absolutely love. One focuses on girls and things like what it's like to be a girl and have body images and things like that. But this documentary, over the course of her career, she, living in Los Angeles specifically, photographs some celebrity kids. I mean, the Kardashians are in it when they were like 16 and 14. So she's documenting what it's like to be obsessed with wealth in this country. Very interesting documentary. Again, not really centered on her work as a whole, but centered on this specific thing that she's noticed as she's photographed people around the world. Found it very interesting and definitely worth a watch. Gets the thumbs up for me again. Oh, the last one is called Living with Lincoln, and this one is on HBO. I'll read the synopsis and then I'll get into, again, this one's not really about a photographer. It is about photographs of Lincoln and the Lincoln Photographs collection, essentially. So let me read the synopsis. Brian Oakes' Living with Lincoln explores his family's physical and emotional connection to the president, revealing a personal side of the immortal leader through a modern-day journey of discovery, obsession, depression, and despair. Yes, so his family, starting with his great-grandfather. Long story short, they end up having the world's largest collection of Lincoln's photographs. So the story is about his grandmother who, between, having a career, she was a really well-known children's author, and how her passion for Lincoln, she wanted to write a book, which she ended up doing before she passed away, and how each generation parallel between their life and Lincoln's life through these photographs. I love Abraham Lincoln history, so I was super intrigued by this, but just seeing the collection of photographs, where they came from and where they ended up, was pretty incredible. I mean, these photos obviously are like almost 200 years old. It was a very interesting watch, especially considering the importance of photography and documenting, at that time. The photography was brand new basically in those times, and the fact that these photos were, kept protected by this family is really awesome to watch. I definitely do recommend this one. Again, is on HBO. It's called Living with Lincoln, and I do recommend. One of my favorites. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope these recommendations will help you pass the time during these crazy times we're in. I hope, for me, watching photography documentaries always re-inspires me, relight the fire if I'm in a funk. So if you guys are in a funk because of all the craziness that's going on, I definitely recommend taking the time to check these documentaries out. And I hope you guys are doing well. And again, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.